Hey guys, how's it going? Joel's here, and I just wanted to check in, just have a chat. Source has been telling me things, and I can really feel like we've moved into a new way of doing things. Like, there literally is like this new energy streaming into this, not just my experience, but just the world around me. It's like as soon as I change, it's like it creates ripples, and the people around me all of a sudden experience those ripples. And it's like, everything's accelerating, but it's accelerating on this individual level where we're all kind of stepping into this embodiment of connection with source. If we're not there yet, and I mean, there are levels to get there, but even just getting closer to it and embodying more of this space on a personal level, like, the gains have just been astronomically accelerated. Like, this is an exponential curve we're riding, and I can sense the change is coming. Like, I knew the change was coming, even when the lockdown hit. Like, just that itself, it seemed like, the world is falling apart. People would even joke about it at my old job and call it, the TP apocalypse. And it really seemed that way. If you're looking at it from the physical, it really looks like we're on this downward spiral and there's no hope, right? But as soon as that all hit, I went inside and I did some inner work, and I just focused on what was real for me. Like, what am I here to do? Were my priorities right? Was what I was doing getting me to where I thought I needed to go? And as soon as I weeded out some of the things that weren't serving me, immediately things changed. And I thought that manifested in a bad way by me losing my regular job, but that only opened doors for me to be more of who I've come here to be, like actually bring more of those talents into the world. So that was just the first step, and that really hit back in, April of last year. But since then, if you've seen my 420 special in the Joel Fernandez show, like, I used the month of 420 to literally accelerate my own personal development. And that was step one. Okay. That accelerated over the summer, and I really honed what my vision was, who I'm here to be, how I can actually help others and actually work in a community. And I guess what I'm trying to say is how I can facilitate humanity, or at least the group of people around me, to function as a holistically operating organism. This might sound really esoteric, but as I stepped into more of that accelerated, and I was able to collaborate with more of my family and more of the people that I worked with on a personal level, and really step into teaching people what I know about manifesting and how we're actually dealing with the physical world from the non-physical causal space. And that itself has more effect in the physical experience of life than fighting with the physical circumstances. So that accelerated. And of course, what happened in the US with the election, that itself was a catalyst to get me to look even deeper into certain things that, even past my own talents, even past my own vision, and really realize, there are other things that play here. There are other things that even Source is bringing to light that maybe we don't see right away. But Source has a process whereby an even greater portion of this picture can actually come to life. Like, even now, I'm seeing people that would have never woken up are now just like, they know. They know, and they might not talk about it. They might pretend in conversation with other people. They might still perpetrate those narratives that the media nights are playing. What I'm really trying to say is that this whole thing has accelerated to such a point that if you thought things that happened over the last year were waking people up, what has just started since March of this year? And really, I want to talk about what's started in just the last week of April. What's really accelerating, the world has not even any precedent to what is coming. So I want to warn people not in a bad way, in a really fantastic way. What is coming is beyond anything we've ever seen. And we are literally heading into a great awakening when everybody is going to know things that they never knew before. And when the word conspiracy theory totally becomes archaic, that is going to be a thing of the past, because what is going to be exposed. And you know what? This video is not about what's being exposed. This video that I'm making is about us waking up as individuals to source. I'm not talking about waking up to corruption. I'm not talking about manipulation being exposed, or institutions and governments and all that stuff. What I'm talking about is us as individuals tapping into our true power, our true sovereignty, and I guess what institutions have called faith, what manifesting has tried to harness, but really without the power of the science of what religion has been sitting on, but not really sharing with their congregants. When we put these two together and religion comes out of its oppressive shadow and embodies its own sovereignty, and we as individuals come out of our own egos, our own manipulation that has been lied to by institutions, and we embody our own connection with source, when these two are married, and literally I'm talking about the marriage between source and us, our own minds, because our body's just going to follow whatever we deem is going to work. So if we're working from a physical perspective, we're going to do what we think needs to be done in the physical, but we don't know all the lines that need to line up in order to get us to where we need to be. But the causal realm sees everything from the higher dimension, and from there it can actually line up things that we wouldn't even dream possible. And if we tap into that heart space, sometimes we'll find ourselves doing something or saying something in a conversation, or choosing to do something instead of what we thought we needed to do that day. And we might wonder, is this the right decision that we need to do? But actually source knows better. And if we just allow that to play out, suddenly we'll see that the connections are really connecting the dots, and we're actually making gains when we didn't even know possible. Like, even, I'm going to use this as an example. Members of my own family, sometimes it's very easy to get caught up in logic and, try to drop the bomb in conversation where you think they need to hear those words. But sometimes those words actually cause more discord, and, they might pull some totally unrelated issue up just to counteract the hypocrisy that you've exposed. When you're not trying to expose their hypocrisy, you're just trying to open their eyes, right? But they see it as a personal attack, and then they get all defensive, and then they shut down. They don't want to listen to what you say. But if you just tune in and tap in with source, sometimes source is just going to tell you, hey, shut up for a moment and allow the love to work at a heart space. And then you're just quiet. You just radiate some kind of love energy. I'm sorry to sound hippie-ish, but you know what? Sometimes that's all it takes. And then the next time you meet them, you don't bring up the subject, but all of a sudden they're asking you questions. Or if, for example, like one time I was at my uncle's place and he had the TV on and it was CNN, and you know what? He was all into that. Like, he would literally play the TV nonstop all day. And you know what? At the level you're at, whatever. No judgment. But all of a sudden, he just turned it off and he's like, you know what? I can't stand this. And I didn't say anything. And then he's like, you know what do you think about what's going on? Do you think it's for the benefit of the economy? Do you think that the economy is better because of the lockdown? And I didn't need to say anything. He was just asking me questions. The conversation just progressed from there. And this is somebody I would have never expected to ask these kind of questions. But all of a sudden, this conversation is on the table. And we just have to allow Source to do Source's own work. Like, Source is literally a personal force. It's actually personal, but it's not human. So we mustn't get our own ideas of what a personality is based on our interactions with fellow humans. But Source literally is a personal force that works on individuals on their own level, and we have to allow that and actually be open to that. And what's coming is sources invading this world, sources invading this physical dimension. It's not that source wasn't here. The very fact that we're existing and we have life on top of that existence, and we have experience on top of that experience of life. You know what? Source is here on so many levels, and our own experience of life is multi-leveled when it comes to source. But the way source is beaming, I guess, intuition to our hearts, that is literally waking up, and not just waking up, but igniting. And it's igniting on a way where we actually interact with each other as a holistic organism. And I think that's what this whole attack starting last year with the lockdown was all about. It's to keep us from interacting with each other, because it knows that this connection is coming. It is inevitable. And that's what I say, is that we are moving forward into this new world, whether they like it or not. This is inevitable, and it is happening. The Great Awakening, I mean, the very fact that they did the lockdown, they've actually sealed their own fate, because they thought that they could isolate us, but it's only through that isolation that we realized what was really important to us. It's this connection, and it's this communication, and not just communication one-to-one physically. It's happening on a heart space, and now on the heart space that's accelerated this last week of April. I don't know what's coming, guys. I mean, I have a glimpse of it based on, the prophetic and what source is telling me and my own intuition of it. But really what's coming, there's been no precedent to this in our own experience of culture, in our own experience of society. So guys, tune in to your own heart and do the acceleration now, because we are moving forward at such a rate that you want to be on the leading edge of this new world. You don't want to be on the trailing edge and, having to climb that learning curve once we're already getting there. Just tap into your own heart space, really tune into what source is telling you, because what's coming is, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That's all I can say. That's all I can say, and that's all I think Source really wanted me to share in this video. What's coming is unbelievable. It's unprecedented. And when we're there, we're just going to look back. We're going to look back at this old world, and it's going to be like a dream. It's literally going to be like we were in a dream, and it's going to be like two states of being that are so different from each other. They contrast so much from each other. It's going to be the difference between waking up from a nightmare and realizing, you're all comfy in your bed and everything's okay. Everything's okay, and now you have the best day planned ahead of you. That's exactly the metaphor that Source is giving me to share with you guys. So that's what this video is about. That's what Source wanted to say, and that's all I have to say, guys. So be yourself, because it's only by being yourself and bearing your talents to the world that you can create your own piece of the puzzle that is necessary in order to create this holistic ecosystem organism, this utopia where we can all fit together as a network. As the jewels of Indra's web, all connected, we all shine our light, and we create this intricate network that is the fabric of reality. So we are creating a new reality by stepping into our own sovereignty. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Agape, Salaam, Namaste. Hotep. God, and another thing is, like, the planes today, this is the 28th of April, I'm recording this. There's a million planes flying overhead. Like, is travel back again? I mean, in Canada, they're playing this whole fuss about the travel ban to India. But you know what? These are the same people that told you the election was fine. These are the same people that say, double mask and triple mask when the warning on the box says, this doesn't even work. We got to call it for what it is. And it's not going to go away until people start speaking up.